Well, good morning. My name is Senator Joe Sang. I want to welcome you. This is my second residence. It's Renwick Mansion. I am here today to introduce Senator Tom Fiegen. I think it's a much-needed thing for the state of Iowa, what he's going to announce today, and very necessary. Tom served in the legislature with me when I was in the House, and he was in the Senate. He he resided in Clarence, Iowa, which is close to my hometown of Lost Nation, Iowa. So I have fond memories of the days of Lost Nation. So without any further ado, I would want to introduce Tom and welcome him to Davenport. Tom?
Good morning. My name is Tom Fiegen, and today I am formally declaring my candidacy for the United States Senate in 2010. As I stand here today, we are approaching 10% unemployment. Our factories are operating at less than 65% of their capacity. The number of home foreclosures increased again in July. And like the 1930s, banks are failing and they're not making many loans. Meanwhile, 47 million of our fellow citizens have no health insurance. An even larger number like me, to use a technical term, have crappy insurance, with high deductibles, high copays, and lots of exclusions. Medical costs are increasing twice as fast as the rate of inflation and are literally crippling many of our businesses. And I, for one, am left with the sense that many of the incumbents in Congress are just putting Band-Aids on the problem. On top of all of that, the pirates on Wall Street took our nation hostage in 2008 with credit cards, subprime loans, credit default swaps, and exotic derivative investment scams. We find ourselves in this mess because of the Republican policies of tax cuts for millionaires, deregulation of the banks, incompetence, and frankly, greed. Two words make the point: Bernie Madoff. I'm campaigning for the United States Senate based on three economic principles that I call Fiegenomics. They are: 1, full employment, a job for everyone in America who wants to work. 2, health care for everyone in America who needs it. And 3, banning financial piracy. Let me explain each of these in a little more detail. First of all, full employment. Growing up, one of my political heroes was Senator Hubert Humphrey. In 1978, just before his death, Senator Humphrey co-sponsored a bill called the Humphrey-Hawkins Full Employment Act. It committed the Congress and the federal government to taking steps and implementing policies to create jobs. Enough jobs that everyone in America who wanted to work could get a job. As your U.S. Senator, I will work to bring our economy back to full employment. This recession is different than other ones since the Great Depression, in part because of the worldwide financial meltdown and the fact that interest rates were already low when it started in 2008. The usual monetary tools are not working. Consumer spending is approximately 75% of our economy. In the 1990s, Americans lived beyond their incomes by maxing out their credit cards. In the 2000s, they refinanced their credit cards and took out a second mortgage on their home. Now that the equity in their home is gone, most of the consumer demand funded by that credit has dried up. To get back to full employment, we have to make up for the consumer demand that was funded by credit with new income. That means new income from new jobs. But we're still going the wrong direction. While the unemployment rate recently dropped from 9.5 to 9.4%, it was because more unemployed Americans became discouraged and dropped out of the workforce. Last week, new unemployment claims were up by 4,000 people. Some economists say that we're looking at 2012 for our economy to recover if we do not do something more. We need to create more jobs. I am committed to a second stimulus bill if it is needed. Second, our trade agreements need to be re-examined to make sure our workers are competing on a level playing field. I will also sponsor additional job training and community college program funding legislation. I will even support a new civilian conservation corps to restore our national parks and historic landmarks if necessary. Before we can solve our other problems, we have to get our country back to full employment. I commit to you that, like my hero, Senator Hubert Humphrey, I will do all in my power to get our country back to full employment. Number 2, health care for everyone. President Obama and all of the Democratic candidates for president ran in 2008 on the promise of health care for everyone who needed it. Democrats took control of the Congress in 2006 and increased their majorities in 2008 on the promise of health care for everyone. Now, 2 men on the Senate Finance Committee, Max Baucus from Montana and our own incumbent farmer from New Hartford, stand in the way and could keep that promise from becoming the law of the land. As your next United States Senator, I will remove one of those roadblocks. I will support the President, and I will support a strong public plan for health insurance. If the President does not get the health care bill he wants on his desk by January 2011, when the new Congress is sworn in, I will pick up in the Senate where the President and the Democratic Congress left off in 2009. My third plank of banning financial piracy is on both a personal level and a national level. On the personal level, banning financial piracy means not allowing a credit card company to issue credit cards to incoming college freshmen with a $10,000 limit and no job, and then threatening their future when they miss a payment. As a bankruptcy lawyer, I deal with collection agencies for credit cards every day. Based on that experience, I believe the new credit card law does not go far enough to protect consumers. Fiegenomics is also about helping homeowners who took out subprime mortgages. I support rewriting those mortgages to keep homeowners in their houses. That includes amending Chapter 13 to be like Chapter 12, which was passed in the 80s to keep farmers on their farms. And like the credit card dealers, Fiegenomics is about toughening the laws on subprime mortgage brokers and mortgage lenders. The incumbent farmer from New Hartford is on the other side. He worked for 8 years to pass the bankruptcy knee-breaker law for the credit card companies in 2005. He voted against rewriting mortgages in Chapter 13 to let people keep their homes. He didn't want to reward reckless behavior. The young people who paid too much for their homes and took out subprime loans were no more reckless than the young farmers who paid too much for their farms in the 80s. The incumbent supported Chapter 12 for those reckless young farmers. Iowa State University found that Chapter 12 worked and that 80% of the farmers who went through bankruptcy held on to their farms. Plus, Chapter 12 helped stabilize farmland values for all other farmers, not just those in bankruptcy. Amending Chapter 13 to allow homeowners to modify their mortgages would also keep them in their homes and help the rest of us with the stabilization of residential property values. If credit cards and subprime loans are like crack cocaine, why are we only getting tougher on the people who have become addicted to easy credit and not the dealers? In the drug world, we help the addicts and punish the dealers. In the financial world, we punish the people addicted to easy credit and reward the dealers. Fiegenomics is about more help for consumers who are addicted to easy credit, keeping them in their homes, and about getting tougher on the crack cocaine, credit card, and subprime mortgage lenders. Banning financial piracy on a national level means isolating the banking industry from the investment firms like Lehman Brothers and isolating them from the insurance industry like the Glass-Steagall Act did after the Great Depression. It also means putting more teeth in our regulations so that worthless investments and mortgages cannot be sliced, diced, and bundled without more transparency, disclosure, and adequate reserves and regulation. The incumbent farmer from New Hartford is on the side of Wall Street. He voted for all of the deregulation that led to the meltdown in 2008. It's interesting to note that he voted for only one bailout, only one, and that was the $750 billion ransom that the pirates on Wall Street demanded when they took our economy and our country hostage. It just so happens that Wall Street is its second largest group of contributors, second only to the medical industry. We should never let investment banking pirates on Wall Street hold our country hostage again. And we should never, ever again reward them with a $750 billion ransom for taking us hostage. I have worked every day of my life for the last 21 years as a bankruptcy lawyer and economist to protect my family farmer and small business clients from big banks and financial interests. I will bring that experience to the United States Senate. I will be a United States Senator from Iowa who is on the same side as hardworking Iowans, not Wall Street. In conclusion, my website, Fiegen U.S. Senate, is live, and we will be adding new content on a regular basis. I do not underestimate the David versus Goliath nature of this race against the savviest Republican politician in Iowa. I am committed to doing all that I can to to remove him as a roadblock to progress. I am also aware that I am not the only Democratic candidate to have declared for the race for U.S. Senate. Today, I invite Bob Kraus and my other Democratic opponents to participate in a series of forums and debates around Iowa to discuss the challenges facing our country and how we as Democrats propose to solve them. Today is the first step of many steps to introduce myself to my fellow Iowans and to ask for your consideration and your support to be the next United States Senator from Iowa. Thank you.